Ladies, welcome to this episode of the Joyful Scaling Podcast. Today, I'm talking about time and productivity. And I'm giving you some great ideas that I actually shared recently with a one-on-one client. And it was just so impactful for her that I wanted to share a little of that with you. So you definitely want to grab something to capture your notes on this one. Okay, I'm going to be giving some great nuggets and I don't want you to miss anything. It's going to be tight and short, but these are powerful. So don't let the brevity fool you into thinking this is one to skip. This is one you definitely need not skip. You must not skip, right? And even more than listening, I really need you to implement. Okay. So let's start with your calendar. So many of you are probably feeling tired, overworked to an extent. You are building your business and you're thinking that you need to work, and put in the time. Now, I'm going to leave for another day the fact that your actions aren't going to create your results. And I think in a prior episode on a Thriver Thursday Live that I turned into an episode, I said the proof of that is if you're exhausted and if you're not hitting your revenue goals, then that is evidence, proof that all the hard work that you've been putting in, and I know you're working hard, is not going to get your results. What matters is your thoughts around you, thoughts around your work, thoughts around your ideal clients and your audience. But for now, I just know that the women that listen to this podcast are committed to their businesses at whatever level they are. And so they're putting in the time. And because we only have 24 hours a day, and because we're busy moms, grandmoms, aunts, busy people in the community, busy people in the church, in our personal ministries as well, there's just no time to waste. And this was the situation of my beautiful one-on-one client. She said, I really need to figure out my schedule because I'm putting me, she said, on the back burner, and that cannot continue. So brava to her for saying that, right? So one of the things that I asked her to do is to do a time audit for an entire week. So whenever you're listening to this, commit to the next 7 days, and I include weekends. Do a time audit. What am I doing? Now, that may seem overwhelming. Like, wait a minute, if I'm driving in the car, going somewhere, like that will require that I have like a notepad with me so that I keep track of what I'm doing all the time. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe just in your phone, or wherever your calendar is, you do keep that with you and you know what you're doing. As a lawyer, we build our time and we build in 6-minute increments because it was always 1/10 of an hour was the smallest increment of time. So I got used to, and believe me, it felt weird. And I don't know if anybody really enjoys capturing their time. Let's put that right out there. But it was good because that's the way I was that's the way we got paid as a firm, right? Billable hours. And it's also a way that I could impress my boss. Hey, look at how much time I'm putting in to these cases so that you can bill so that we ultimately win the case, right? So yes, when you get up, every hour on the hour, every minute should be accounted for. Okay. So I'm talking about, like this morning, I got up at, what time did I get up today? 5:45. And then I, go to the bathroom, I comb my hair a little bit. And then my first thing is I go to Dunkin' Donuts for my coffee. That's my treat. So I would say from 5:45 to 6, I woke up and got ready to go. And then from about 6 to 6:30, I drove to Dunkin' Donuts and came back. Then from 6:30 until about 7, I listened to a Tony Evans sermon. You get what I'm saying? Yes, I'm talking about that specific. Now, a lot of you, I know from talking with you, you spend time on social media. This time audit's going to be really good for you because you're going to see what you're doing and how much time you're spending. And ultimately, you should take this time audit and kind of bump it up against the results. Wow, over the course of a week, I'm spending X hours on Facebook or X hours on LinkedIn. And, wow, am I getting an ROI on the investment of my precious time being spent? Okay. But I want you to be really specific. The real value to the time audit is going to be an indication of how accurate you are and how specific you are. So that, don't just have like a block of time, 45 minutes on Facebook. No, get more specific, because we're going to use this as an analysis in the following week to say, okay, here's how I spent my time. I'm going to evaluate it. What went right? What maybe didn't work? Not going right here, right? And what am I going to do differently going forward? That's the evaluation. What worked, what didn't work, and what am I going to do differently? But again, be real specific. So, I spent 10 minutes on Facebook, for example, reviewing friends' feeds and commenting. Great. Then I spent another 15 minutes posting, I don't know, posting something. Maybe I hope this isn't you, but I know a lot of you do post on the fly. Okay, great. I spend 15 minutes creating a post on Facebook. And then I spend another, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is, in the DMs talking to whomever, prospective clients, following up, whatever. Okay. So that's the level of specificity that I want you to do in the time audit. And I want this to be a comprehensive over your life. It's not just business, it is life. So, if you make dinner from, 5:30 to 6, then that's what you put. From 6 to 7:30, family time. You don't have to get specific on that, right? Because we're not going to evaluate that. That's precious time. Enjoy your time, that kind of thing. But then, okay, then if you come back to work at like 8 or 9, what are you doing? Get specific, right? Reviewed schedule for the following day, or I wrote a script for the next day's live, or something like that. I need you to be specific, because that's going to be the value of the time audit. Okay. So you're going to do that for an entire 7 days. And then again, what is that? Okay, Judy, what am I going to do with it then? Then I need you to calendar time next week where you're going to come and you're going to look and you're going to say, okay, have I spent my time in a way that truly, serves me, my family, and my clients? Okay. And that is going to be personal, so I can't speak further to that, but evaluating your time and being confident and decisive in determining, what am I going to do going forward? Because here's the deal. If you say, I don't have time for exercise, that's a lie. If you say, I don't have time for anything that matters, anything that would serve you, I don't have time for it. Like, I don't have time to read the Bible. I don't have time to, invest and if you already have courses or something, I don't have time to do the homework. I don't have time to review the modules. That's a lie. And in love, I'm telling you that truth, that anytime you say, I don't have time to do X, if X is of value, that's a lie. You're choosing not to do that, probably because it's something you don't want to do, or, there's some reason that you're not valuing that thing that you are saying you don't have time for. Because we will do what we want to do. We will find the time to do the things we want to do. So saying I don't have time to do X is a lie. Okay, so there's that. The first nugget of wisdom in this episode: do a time audit for yourself for a week. Okay, now, something that I discovered some time ago was the value of carving out the last 10 minutes of every hour. What I mean by that is, wherever possible, Do not schedule meetings back to back to back to back. Give yourself 10 minutes to get up. If you work predominantly virtually, to get up out of your seat, walk around, go get a drink of water, go to the bathroom. Okay. Don't bump up meetings one to the next. I gave this advice to this one-on-one client. And this week when she came to me, she goes, Judy, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I was finishing up. She was a real estate broker. So she was coaching one of her agents. And she said, you know what? I was exhausted from this one, coaching experience with this agent. And I had a couple of those, but those 10 minutes, I had one or two other coaching sessions that I had to do. She said, and I was so exhausted, but those 10 minutes really did refresh me and revive me. And it sounds something that's just so simple. It's like, oh, how could those 10 minutes make a difference? And they absolutely did. So are you giving yourself those 10 minutes? So work 50 out of every 60 minutes. Okay. Now, one other thing, when we talk about our time audit, I should have mentioned this earlier. I'll go back to it. When you look at how you spend your time, and you're realizing that you're working too hard, you're working too long, I want you to kind of identify those activities that you're doing and put them in one of three buckets. Okay. All of your activities, the business activities, in one of three buckets. The first one is things I'm doing now that I must do, and I love doing it. Like I am the CEO, so I must do this. And I love it. It fuels me. That's bucket one. Okay. Bucket number two is things you hate to do and you're not good at it. And these are things you should delegate. And if you're a control freak like me, let's raise our hands together and say, hello, sister. Okay. If that is you, it's time to delegate. Okay. A CEO should not be doing admin tasks, period. Unless you're just starting out in your business and you haven't yet hit, 75,000, 100,000, then maybe do that stuff on your own. But there's certain things when you get past six figures, get it off your plate, sister. Okay. And then the rest is, the third bucket is things that I think I should do, but I'm not sure. Okay. And then for that, depending on what the activity is, you determine, well, this is something that I should keep on my plate or something that I should delegate. Okay. So again, it's things I must do is the first bucket. I must do it. And by the way, I love to do it. Okay. That kind of thing. Must, and let's make it or actually, I must do it or I love it. And I really feel deep down that this is a CEO activity. I'm great at it. I must do it. Okay. The second bucket is I hate to do it. I'm doing it now. I know I need to delegate it. And the third bucket is, wow, I'm not sure. I've got to do an individual evaluation. Okay. When you do that and you're brutally honest with yourself on what really shouldn't be on your plate, you should see time opening up on your calendar. Okay. And I'll leave for another day the whole idea of, okay, now I have all these tasks that need to be off my plate. Who's going to do them? How do I find the person? How do I know if I'm ready to hire? Is it a full-time employee, part-time employee, independent contractor, all that stuff? Okay, that's for another day. But right now we're getting our time straight. So evaluating whether you're going to continue to do it or not is a huge next step. Okay. All right, one more big idea, which is going to make you more productive in 1,000 different ways. And that is voice texting or otherwise capturing your great ideas. Now, you might be saying, what great ideas? Hold on a second. I know you because you're like me. You have a powerful brain. and you've got great ideas about your business, ideas about where you could go to find clients or connect with people that, are your people, or, potential collaborative partners, that kind of thing. Okay. You have great ideas, things to include in your offer, things you may have heard. You may be out at the dentist office, for example, and you're reading this magazine and, oh my gosh, there's a great idea. I want to capture that. Okay. In that instance, if it's an article, snap a picture of it and save it in a note on your phone, if you have an iPhone, or maybe you text it to yourself. This is stuff, when I started doing this just made me so, I don't miss things that I used to miss, right? How many times are you in the shower and you got these great ideas? Well, unless you have a waterproof phone, you can't really do anything with that. But as soon as you step out of the shower, I keep repeating it to myself. I kind of look like a crazy person maybe, but I keep repeating that great idea until I get out of the shower. And then I grab my phone and I voice text it to myself. So throughout the day, as these great ideas are hitting me in the moment, I am capturing them in some way. I am voice texting it to myself, or I am typing it out, whatever works for you, right? But I'm capturing it in one place. If that's in notes, if that's a self-text. And here is how you capture it and don't miss it. At the end of every day, you take the time to get those great ideas in order, meaning you look at your text or you look at your notes, and then you put them wherever they belong. Okay, so that if you had a great idea about a podcast that you wanted to pitch yourself on, great, then put that into the note area on your phone or in the Google Doc, wherever you capture. These are places I want to pitch to be on their podcast. Take it from that note in your phone or from that voice text that you captured earlier in the day, and you put it where it belongs. Okay. So that picture, that idea that you got from the dentist office, you're going to put that where it belongs, whatever it relates to. But this way you get really good at capturing those ideas. And then you take it one step further and you make sure by the end of the day, before you go to bed, that that great idea is living where you need it to live, however you've set up your business, in the back end of your business. And that's going to vary for all of you. So for me, I put something like that in a note on my phone. I have a podcast to pitch note in my phone. I have a great podcast guest note in my phone. I have launch ideas in my phone. Great ideas. Okay. And I could go on and on and on. But whatever makes sense for you, wherever you're organized. But okay, so I told you this would be short. What do you think? Which of these are you going to implement? Or are you going to do them all? I want to hear from you. Okay. Go to my website. Okay. Go to judyweber.co/podcast. Scroll down, leave me a voice note. Say, hey, Jude, you know what? That episode talking about time management and time audits. Wow. I did XYZ and it's changed everything for me. And here's how. I want to hear that from you. Your feedback means the world to me. I hear from you through the DMs, but I want to, and I appreciate that. And please keep it coming. And I so appreciate those of you. And if you haven't already, would you please consider doing so, leaving me a rating and review, especially on Apple. We were recently so blessed to be ranked in the top of the Christian business podcasts and the Christian women podcasts. And I posted about that. And I just want to thank each and every one of you. I want to hear from you, and I'm going to feature your voice on this podcast. And by the way, I know that some of you out there would be fabulous podcast guests. If you would like to be a guest on the show, that's the perfect place to leave a voice note and tell me a little bit about why you need to get on the show. Okay. Again, that's judyweber.co/podcast, judyweber.co/podcast. That's also where you can find links to us wherever you like to listen. And again, scrolling down just a hair, you will see where you can leave your feedback, your question, anything you have for me. All right. I hope this was helpful. I love you so much, sister. God bless. And we will see you next time.